And now, it's story time with your host, Carl Childers.
I always like them puppets. They tickle me. I reckon the most famous puppet ever was that Howdy Doody feller. Along before TV come along, there's another puppet caused quite a commotion. Name of Pinocchio. I can tell you all about it if you want me to. Once upon a time, there's this old feller with a big mustache named Geppetto. Kinda looked like Materman a good bit. He sat around carving puppets. Some folk calls them dolls, I calls them puppets. He weren't married, but he had a cat and a bug and a top hat hanging around. Even all that, he still kindly wanted to have a little boy. Folks thought he's a mite funny. Not funny ha-ha, funny queer. Well, sir, this old fairy was eavesdropping on Geppetto's prayers one night. A real fairy. Not one of them fellers what wears makeup and makes their own clothes. Well, sir, this here real fairy turned one of them puppets into a boy. Name of Pinocchio. Geppetto was his daddy. Them foreign words I have a hard time with sometimes. Everything tends to sound alike. Well, sir, he was just the right size for old Geppetto. No bigger than a wooden squirrel. Geppetto figured he might send his little puppet feller off for some schooling. But them other young'uns there, they was kinda cruel to him. Made sport of him a good bit. Called him knothead and toothpick and kindling and whatnot. Well, old Pinocchio, he weren't the sharpest tool in the shed, but he knowed enough to figure out he weren't a real boy yet. He wanted to be a real boy just about more than anything in the world. Well, sir, being almost a boy was enough to get old Pinocchio in trouble. He started running around with the wrong crowd and acting wild. Then Daddy, he knowed he's out there fooling around. He caught him red-handed. Well, sir, what little Pinocchio didn't know was that old real fairy what brought him to life kindly put a hoodoo wampus on him. So's when he'd tell a lie, his nose would grow. Well, sir, he commenced to telling his daddy there he didn't do nothing wrong, and it weren't long before it looked like he had a tree growing on his face. When he finally got to telling his daddy the truth about the matter, his nose went back to normal size. It scared him good, I reckon. Something like that scared me. But it didn't last long. He up and runned off summers with a cat and a fox who wandered around the countryside doing skits for folks. They taught Pinocchio a skit or two, and he got pretty popular, I reckon. Pretty near as popular as that old David Hasselhoff. Made a good wage. Then he heard about this island with all these lost boys on it, where you could kind of do whatever you had a mind to. That sounded pretty good to him, and off he went. What he didn't know was that them folks on that island there was turning all them young'uns into donkeys so they could skin them and make drums and whatnot. Pinocchio knowed he'd done wrong. That bug in the hat tried cheering him up with a song or two, but it didn't do no good. They figured he's done for. Now all this time that Pinocchio was out there adventuring and getting into hot water, that old daddy of his, Geppetto, he was toting himself all over creation looking for him. He finally give up on dry land. He set out on a boat. In no time at all, he got swallowed up by this whale, boat and all. Well, sir, Pinocchio escaped that island, and he got swallowed up too by that same whale. It's a small world. He's right surprised to see his daddy there sitting on the boat waiting for him. Well, after they's done hugging and crying, I had to figure out a way to get out of that whale's belly. Pinocchio had an idea. He wanted to tell a bunch of lies until his nose would grow long enough to stick that whale in the heart. Kill him. Geppetto didn't want to do that, and he took off a chasing him. Pinocchio run around so fast his little old legs rubbed together and started a fire. That old whale started a gagging on that smoke and throwing up. Sure enough, out come that boat with Geppetto, Pinocchio, that cat, and that little bug in the hat. They went on back home. That old fairy's waiting for him. The real fairy, not that fella who made his own clothes. He's waiting there, and he turned Pinocchio into a real boy. They's all plumb tickled about it. Next day, Pinocchio went off to school. Folks in the town there said that he weren't a puppet no more. Pinocchio told them that the fairy turned him into a real boy. Them villagers thought he was talking about Geppetto, and they just all read. They already figured he was funny queer, not funny ha-ha. Now he's a practicing magic. I reckon that didn't sit too well with them. They pulled him out of his little shop there. They're gonna throw him down the well. Kill him. Pinocchio started screaming, "What you gonna kill my daddy for? What you gonna kill my daddy for?" Before they could do it, that real fairy showed up with that singing bug and put them folks at ease. Then they had a big party and a pretty big laugh about it all. Moral of the story is, it might be dark inside that whale, but as long as you got your boy with you, it's a mite safer than being around the party people who want to throw you down the well and kill you. The end.
Story Time with Carl Childers is brought to you by Hargrave's Potted Meat Product, chock full of peckers and lips since 1937.
You speak any of them foreign languages, little feller?
And now, it's Story Time with your host, Carl Childers.